What is up? Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. And today on the podcast, I'll be talking about carbs. Do carbs make you fat? But before I dig in, I would like to just thank you for listening to my podcast, listen to me talk about various health and fitness topics. I appreciate it. And the more people listen to this, the more people this gets in front of. So if you have really enjoyed listening to my podcast episodes in the past, you really enjoyed this episode so far, please rate the show, subscribe, and share it. That helps me get in front of more people, helps me debunk a lot of the fitness crap out there, and helps me help more people, which is the goal of this show. So anyway, thank you. And today I wanted to talk about carbs. So I'll lead off with a story, but before, I guess, short answer, no, carbs do not make you fat, which was a misconception a lot of people believed. I used to believe that. And I'm going to talk about the benefits of carbs, where that misconception came from, and why carbs are really important. And yeah, so anyway, let's jump in. So this misconception derived from the Atkins diet. So the Atkins diet was a high protein, high fat diet that came out, I think, in like the 80s, 90s kind of time frame. And before that, people thought fat made you fat, and people thought fat was bad for you. So everyone was doing low fat everything in the 80s, like only egg whites, no butter, like really, really low fat, which is also very detrimental because fat's super important for nutrient absorption, for overall hormonal health. So fats are also good. All the macronutrients are good for you. Protein, fats, carbs, I guess fibers technically, it's a macronutrient, but it's like a carbohydrate anyway. They're all good for you. You need all of them. So here's the thing. Carbs are non-essential. You can never eat a carb and survive. If you never eat a protein or a fat, you will die because your body does not produce enough essential amino acids from proteins in order to rebuild and repair and function. So you need to supply your body with that every day. Fats, your body can make fats, but fats are really important for overall hormonal health and nutrient absorption. And if you have severe nutrient deficiencies because you're not eating any fats, you will die. So those two are really important. Carbs are technically non-essential, so you can survive without them. But a life without carbs is a terrible life. And here's where so the Atkins diet became popular, and so people started not eating carbs, and they're like, carbs make you fat, and yada yada. And then in probably when I was in college, low carb became a thing. Paleo got really popular before that, and then low carb became a thing. Keto, ketones, all of that crap. And so a lot of people still had that misconception. But really, and part of it too, if you cut out carbs from your diet, you will lose weight very quickly. Not because you're losing body fat, but because your muscle stores carbohydrates. So your muscle bellies, they store glycogen, which is a carbohydrate, and water. And so if you deplete your body of glycogen by not consuming carbohydrates and exercising, you'll deplete your muscle bellies of glycogen. You will drop weight really quickly because your body's holding on to less water, i.e. weight. You're holding less weight. That is not body fat. That is not fat loss. And that's part of why people think carbs make you fat, because when they go on a low carb diet, they lose weight really quickly. But that's not the case. And in fact, I'd say if you want to lose body fat the right way and sustainably, you need to eat carbs. And here's why. The best way to set yourself up for success long term is to have metabolically active muscle tissue, which means muscle tissue that is strong, muscle tissue that works well. The best way to have strong, healthy muscle tissue is to strength train. And to strength train properly and to focus on performance and strength. And if you're underfueling your body, you're not providing your body with enough nutrients, enough carbohydrates to perform at peak performance, you're not going to be able to build as much muscle tissue or as much strong muscle tissue as you would otherwise. So your metabolism won't be functioning as optimally as it can. And so anyway, that being said, so carbs are your body's preferred fuel source. That's why they're so awesome. If you're trying to perform at an athletic event or get stronger in the gym, just have more energy throughout the day, carbohydrates are going to be crucial. A lot of people who come to me and work with me, a lot of clients in the past, they've tried a lot of those fad diets. And I have as well. And I'm going to give a story of my disordered behavior. But they come to me and they're like not eating any carbs. They have super low energy. They have trouble sleeping, especially women in menopause. Carbohydrates are super important. And once we start increasing their carbohydrates, their energy levels skyrocket. They're performing better. They're getting stronger. Their metabolism's functioning better. And they have way more energy. And they have better sleep quality. And the better sleep from the carbohydrates contributes to better energy levels, but also just having more energy in your body that is easier for your body to utilize also gives you more energy. So basically carbs are awesome. And the one caveat I'd say is clients who have a severe gut dysbiosis, which is like severe overgrowth or severe gut digestive distress, sometimes a high carb diet can cause more GI issues. But that's why I address those problems with my clients. And so if my client comes to me and they have gut issues, I'm not going to put them on a higher carbohydrate diet. I'm going to help them address the root cause of their problem and then get them to a place where they can eat high carbs and we can push the strength, push the performance, and help them improve their body composition. So anyway, that's why carbs are super awesome. And I fell for this too. Because you go low carb, you can drop 5 to 10 pounds in a week. But again, that's not body fat. That is just water and glycogen that your muscle bellies are depleted. And oftentimes if you do that, you also don't even look better because your muscle is depleted. It does not have the carbohydrates or the water stored in there that make them look full and strong and quote unquote toned. So anyway, and I love my husband, and not his fault, but when we started dating, I was trying to lose weight. I was always uncomfortable with the way I looked, and I'd say I probably wasn't super overweight or anything. I mean, I was a D1 athlete. At the time, I had already drastically changed my lifestyle. So for context, now I'm about 165-ish pounds, plus or minus, given the day. More carbs, probably closer to 167. Less carbs, probably 164, 163. Anyway. So I got up to 215. That's when I weighed myself. And I could have been way heavier than that when I was a freshman in college. And so by the time I started dating my husband, I was probably about 180 pounds. And I was super active. So I was strong. I had muscle. We lifted weights. And that was something I've done, I think, over 12, 13 years now. So I've always lifted weights. And I started in high school because I played sports and I was told it would make me better at sports. So I did it not properly, but I always did something. So anyway, so I was strength training. So I had muscle. I was strong. But I was always trying to lose weight because I didn't like how I look. I didn't feel comfortable in my body. But in hindsight, it's like I was an athlete. I needed to fuel my body properly so I would perform well. I shouldn't have focused on my body composition. I would have been a much better athlete had I focused on performance and fueling my performance than how I looked in the mirror. That being said, he found some YouTube videos, and he lifted weights, and he's like, yeah, carbs are like super bad for you and they make you fat. And I was like, oh. And so I just stopped eating processed carbs, which was good because like processed sugar, for me at least, if I'm eating a lot of it, it is fairly addictive. Like I want to keep eating more of it, and I have trouble not eating it, and I have trouble stopping myself from eating it if I eat it consistently. And I'm not going to go into why. Well, the more things you eat, the more of a particular food you eat, the more your body craves it. And so, because your gut microbiome is created essentially by what you put in your body. So, and your gut is what has cravings. For the most, I mean, there's emotional cravings, other things, but like if you're hungry and you're like, the foods that come to mind are probably going to be the ones your gut prefers if you actually are hungry. So it's, anyway. So I cut out all refined and processed foods basically. Well, I bought keto processed foods. That's another story for another time. But yeah, and I dropped weight really quickly. But I had no energy at all. I had no energy. I wasn't performing well. I had digestive issues because the carbs I was eating were like super, super high fiber. So like a lot of Brussels sprouts, like bags of Brussels sprouts. I'd have like a whole bag, the Trader Joe's size bag of Brussels sprouts every day. Fried in butter and with garlic, they are delicious. But that is not fuel for an athlete. Because vegetables and fruits are really awesome for you. Fruits have more simple carbohydrates, which help fuel activity. But vegetables are primarily fiber sources. And those are not great for energy. They're great for digestion and regular bowel movements and overall health and gut health, but they're not great for performance. So never had any energy. And my weight loss plateaued really quickly. Why? I wasn't tracking my calories. I just wasn't eating carbs. But I'd go to the grocery store and get like a pint of the keto ice cream and eat that. This was the lower calorie one. But still, that's like, 500 calories. And it's like, but I can't eat an apple or carrots? Like, because they have sugar in them? Like, that's silly. Anyway, so my weight loss plateaued really quickly because I depleted my body of glycogen. I wasn't performing well. My performance wasn't improving. And it wasn't until I started integrating more carbohydrates into my diet again that my performance improved and my weight loss plateau went away. It was no longer a plateau. I was actually losing weight because I was performing better, building more muscle tissue, and fueling my body adequately. So basically, I've been there. But carbs are great for you. They're your body's preferred fuel source. The only caveat, as I said, is if you have gut dysbiosis, you have an overgrowth of bad bacteria, certain carbohydrates can cause bloating, discomfort, digestive distress. And so that's why we want to address that first. And so doing low carb for a gut health protocol, that's valid sometimes. And that's a beneficial thing. But for fat loss, carbs do not make you fat at all. Like, carbs are awesome. Carbs are great for you. And in fact, so personally right now, I'm the lowest weight I've been in since college, like 5 years, literally 5 years. And I'm eating 350 grams of carbohydrates a day. That's a lot of carbs. Like, think about that. Like, I'm eating 2,600 calories a day at 165-ish pounds and 350 grams of carbs. And I feel great. I got great energy levels. My performance is improving. My sleep is awesome. No negative biofeedback whatsoever. No bloat because my gut is healed. No digestive discomfort. It's helping me with my stress. And that's another thing. Oftentimes the people that come to me, very high achiever, very type A, which I was as well, And it's a lot more effort for your body to convert fat to fuel and to convert fat to fuel, it's a lot more effort. It's not your body's preferred fuel source, which is another stress on the body, right? Your body has to do something else in order to get energy. So if you're not eating enough in general, and your body has to expend more effort to get energy, that's going to be a stress. That can impact your sleep. That can impact your digestion. And if you're eating a high protein diet, your body will convert those proteins into carbohydrates as fuel, which is another thing. It's like, that's even more effort than focusing on using ketones. So carbs are great. And the people that come to me, they're already super stressed. So once we increase their carbohydrate intake, one, they're shocked that they're not gaining weight and they're actually getting leaner and feeling better and having more energy and sleeping better. But their stress improves, their performance improves, because they're fueling their body adequately. And that's another misconception, is that carbs are like really high in calories. No. Carbs are 4 calories per gram. Proteins are 4 calories per gram. Proteins require more effort for our body to break down, so it's probably about 3.2 calories per gram-ish. Fats are 9 calories per gram. Fats are really satiating. And so that's why I sometimes too, on the onset, when people do go low carb, do go keto, they're eating very high fat, high protein, they're not going to be very hungry. But fats have way more calories in them. Have you ever measured out a serving of nuts? If you had, it's like this size. If you're looking at my screen, if you're on YouTube, or I don't know if Spotify does the videos. Anyway, it's about like a quarter of the size of my palm is like a serving of nuts. And that can be 150 to 200 calories. Whereas you can have an entire plate of like sliced up potato, and that's like 200 calories. So if you're not eating processed foods, if you're eating nutrient-dense carbohydrate sources, it'll be just as filling as doing a high-fat, high-protein diet, but you'll perform better in the gym, so you'll build more muscle tissue, so you'll have a better metabolism, so you'll burn more body fat and improve your body composition a lot more quickly. So carbs are great. Eat your carbs. Carbs don't make you fat. And I'm trying to think, there was something else I was going to say, but I never take notes for these. I just kind of go off my thoughts based on things that I've been hearing or talking about or listening to with client interactions with people on social media, other podcasts that have kind of piqued my interest. And I'm like, oh, I should talk about something similar to that on mine, because I know the people that listen to my podcast and read my emails and are on my social media would benefit from me discussing this topic in great length. So anyway, carbs are great for you. Carbs don't make you fat. Oh, this was the last thing. Oftentimes people equate carbs to processed foods. But if you're really looking at processed foods like chips, cakes, cookies, and stuff like that, they're really high in fat too. So processed foods are not carbohydrates. They have carbohydrates in them, but oftentimes most of the calories comes from fats. Like, I think a whole bag of potato chips is like 10 potatoes. But it's got like a bunch of fat in it. And so like most people can down an entire bag of like Lay's family sized potato chips, but try to eat 10 whole potatoes that are just carbs. I love potatoes and I can't do that. I can eat like 2 medium-sized ones in a sitting, or maybe two like medium small sized potatoes. I have a big appetite too. So that's often the misconception too. So oftentimes too, another thing, it's like people reducing carbohydrates, they're reducing processed foods, which is what I did, which is what helped me with my overall health, right? I was eating less processed carbohydrates, less processed foods that had a lot more calories in them. But like, those aren't just carbs. They're also fats. They're also very high in fat, which is why they were so calorie dense, and they're literally engineered to be overconsumed and eaten. So it's like a twofer. They're like super high in calories, and they're super, super tasty, and they're made to be super tasty. So you overeat it, and it kind of hijacks your body's hunger and fullness signals. So I say satiety sometimes, but I want to make sure that people listening know what I mean. So satiety is fullness. So anyway, so processed foods aren't just carbs. They're also high in fats usually, and very low in protein and fiber. Protein and fiber are very filling, and they're engineered to make you overeat them. So that's oftentimes too why people, when they go on lower carbohydrate diets, they remove those things from their diet, which improves their overall health, but it's not the carbs. It's the high calorie foods that are not nutrient dense, that don't serve your body. So anyway, eat your carbs and stick to whole foods most of the time. But the cool thing is, if most of the time, like 80 to 90% of the time, you're eating whole foods that you cook at home, that you make yourself, then on occasion, having a piece of cake, having a couple chips here and there, that's totally fine. And that's another thing I work on with my clients. It's like, you can integrate these things into your day-to-day. It's just, once you realize, like, I feel better eating these whole foods, you tend to not really want to eat the processed stuff as much. And that's where I'm at on my journey. It's like, most of the only processed food I have daily is my Ninja Creamy, because it's got whey protein powder in it. But it has whey protein powder, collagen, and almond milk. That's it. And I never want normal ice cream because I have a high protein version all the time that to me now tastes really good. That person who eats normal ice cream might not think of it the same. And I really don't have cravings for anything because I love the food I eat on a regular basis. And I've made food that helps me hit my goals, helps me feel good, and that serves me and my body. So anyway, if this sounds like something you're interested in, getting that food freedom, having more energy, improving your sleep, improving your performance, getting a better body composition without restriction, and without having to go on some type of fad diet, you can set up a discovery call with me. I'd love to chat with you if you're interested in coaching. We can talk about what that looked like. Or if you're not ready for that, I have a metabolic quiz in the caption, and it's completely complimentary. You just input a couple things, it'll give you a score, it'll give you some action items. And if you want a personalized blueprint, you can input your email, and I'll send you a personalized blueprint to help you improve your metabolism, improve your body composition, and just feel awesome. So anyway, thank you for listening. If this episode resonated with you, please like the show, share it, subscribe. That just helps me help more people and get in front of more people to debunk a lot of the crap out there. So anyway, thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.